Hello creatives! Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Angela. I'm a graphic designer and an illustrator, and today we're diving into Procreate. And Procreate is a beautiful app for digital painting and drawing and pretty much creating whatever you want. They are famous for their brushes and seem to rival Adobe quite well, in my opinion. I'm going to show you some tips and tricks that you really need to know while you're in Procreate. Let's dive in. This is a piece I created because I find NASA to be fascinating. I am in Florida, so NASA is headquartered here. I have some brushes that I created in here as well. Many of you may not know that there is some quick selection menus. I get questions sometimes about processes. Take 3 fingers and we're going to slide down. And that creates a pop-up menu for copy and paste. But it's not just copy and paste. There's cut, copy, copy all, duplicate, cut and paste, and paste. So I'm going to show you how to use these. Let's open the layers panel, which is these 2 pages on the top right-hand corner over here. You may notice that there is also color selection over here as well, but we'll get there. First of all, I am on a layer that I don't want to be on. So let's go to this layer. Actually, no, let's go to this layer. This layer has a airbrush brushstroke on it that I made of this yellow airstream, kind of like light refraction in the background. And I still have the copy paste pop-up menu right here. Tap duplicate, and it duplicates it automatically, and it also selects it for me automatically, which is great. Now, under the selections, you have freeform, uniform, distort, and warp. Uniform is the one that it defaults to, so that way you can uniformly move it and or scale it. So I'm just going to move this over to the other side, just like so. I can even zoom in with this pop-up menu still here. You can also choose to keep snapping on or turn it off depending on what you are looking for. It'll just snap it to the grid lines that are off of the artboard, behind the artboard. Distort over here. And distortion allows you to take a corner and move things independently of each other. So I'm going to move this corner up. There we go. And then to deselect, because I know this might be a little bit of a pain point for some people, is to just tap the icon that's already highlighted in blue, which is usually your selection tool over here on the top toolbar. Your toolbars might look different from mine. I never changed mine from the default settings. So my default settings are for lefties. I did not know that, but I kept it because I'm used to it. So your toolbars might be opposite mine, just in case you're a righty, right-handed. I'm right-handed, but I use it lefty. You know, to each their own. So that is duplication and the copy-paste selection menu. Now there are other different menus as well. I'm going to go on to my little spaceship. Over here in this toolbar, there is a little icon here. I'm going to tap on this and tap on the screen. And then there is it's like a quick selection menu pretty much, or a quick start menu. So you can change the name of it by tapping on the name of it and changing it, which I did. I named mine Lightning Menu. You also have other selections. So the other selections are new layer, flip vertically, clear layer, flip horizontally, copy, and merge down. So merge down is when you want to merge 2 layers together to combine them, so that way you can move an object together or to save layers. Typically for a new layer, there's other ways to do this as well. You can tap new layer if you want to. You can also flip things vertically, so I'll show you that. It flips the entire canvas vertically. You can also undo by tapping on the screen with 2 fingers. There we go. And then you can also flip everything horizontally so you can mirror stuff. Now this is really good for when you want to create like decals and stuff, and the decal, depending on the like the substrate that you're using and the type of decal material it is. Like if you are doing like a transfer decal, you want to have it flipped, mirrored, so that way when you transfer it and you place it, then it is right ways round. For merging layers, you can go into your layers panel and you can merge layers together by simply pinching 2 layers together. You merge the layers together. That is one way, or you can do it from that quick menu that we were just in. You can just tap on the merge layer option. There are other selections in Procreate. All of them pretty much have to do with the brush tool. So I'm going to go with the brush tool. The brush tool has an array of brushes. You may have seen some of these before, and there's even ways that you can modify these brushes as well. Slide the brush to the left and you can share it, duplicate it, or reset it. Reset it sets it back to the default settings if you have changed yours. I'm going to duplicate it. So you can duplicate a brush, and you can even go into the brush by tapping on it and change the spacing if you would like. It gives you this cute like little polka dot halftone brush. You can add that. Let me just turn this white. If you want like half tones going through, you can do half tone brushes like this where it's all like polka dotted and pixelated if you would like. And you can do a whole bunch with brushes. You can even do star brushes like I have done. I created this Starry Night brush. You can even do different colors by choosing the color selection, making different color stars. For instance, I have like a blue here. Whoops, that is really not that big. There we go. And you can do different color stars, and you can make your own brushes. Now there is also a lot of other selections you can make, especially with colors. In colors, you have lots of different options to look at as far as what orientation you want your colors in to be. Whatever you were more comfortable with. There's a disc view, there's a classic view, harmony view, so it shows you the colors that are in harmony with each other that go together based on the color you have selected. And then you also have values if you'd like to be a little bit more precise and type in your values. You can also do that here. And you also have your palettes. Now, palettes come in this compact view. As you can see, I've made quite a few palettes. They're a little bit all over the place, but you can also go over to cards and it shows you it as a full card. You can also take this palette and you can move it over your screen so that way it's out of your way wherever you want it to be, and it will stay there. And you can flip through the different views while you are continuously working. So it's super handy. Press the X in the top right hand corner and it just goes right back here. You can also go back to the compact view. You can name your colors. For instance, if you didn't want this to be blue-green, you can name it whatever you like. Super handy things. If you also wanted to change the color of something, for instance, if you wanted the spaceship to be gray, you can go into your values. I'm going to just turn this down. Take all the saturation away to where it's a gray. You can tap and drag the color into the space and let go, and it will fill the space for you. Now, sometimes there are instances, I'm just going to undo that. There are instances where you fill a shape and this happens. In order to not have that happen, tap and drag your color, set it, and then reduce the threshold. See how it says color drop threshold right here? You can reduce the threshold of how much that color can expand, and it will fill up only the space that you want it to fill up. And there's also instances where you can use this if you have a shape and you're trying to fill a color into that shape and you get little tiny pixels of non-filled color. You can also increase the threshold to fill up those pieces. So that's always handy. There are also questions about how do you make a perfect circle? So you're drawing a circle and you get there. If you hold it, it creates a perfect circle of the shape that you have, like of the pathway that you have. But if you tap and hold your finger on the screen, it will make a perfect circle for you. Perfectly constrained. Tap and drag your color in, and it makes a perfect circle, so you can make like a moon, for instance. I did not put this on its own layer. So the way to separate objects, if you have two objects on one layer and you want to separate them from each other and put them on their own layer, you can go into this S looking icon up here on the top toolbar. Make sure it is selected onto freehand. I'm just going to draw around it. It creates this quick selection path. all you have to do is 3-finger drag down to bring up that copy and paste, and then choose cut and paste. Cut and paste will cut it from the current layer it's on and paste it onto its own new layer. So that is one quick way to do it. So now I can use my selection tool and move this into place. I think I'll put it over here. There we go. And then of course we can go in and make this look all blotchy with like darker grays and such like that. Those are a few little tips and tricks that you should know. For anyone who is using typography, like if you like to do a lot of text and a lot of type and you like to make like your own brushes and you like to do fun things and you're wondering like, how do I get a drop shadow? Because that is never, like I don't see that anywhere. Well, a drop shadow is really quite simple. Let me show you. I'm gonna hide this layer that I have where it's behind the To the Moon. I'm gonna select the To the Moon text. You're going to go into the layers panel, slide to the left, duplicate it. A layer will duplicate on top of the current layer, but I'm going to select the bottom layer, and I'll tell you why in a second. Select the bottom layer, just tap on the layers panel, layers icon again to get out of it. Choose the selection tool over here, and I'm going to bring it down quite a bit to about there. Tap the selection tool again and it deselects everything. To make sure that I select my color from the background, press this little square icon here and select the color of the background. Now that we have our color, we can go into our color panel over here. I'm going to go into classic mode just because I like to work in classic mode when it comes to like different types of, when it comes to like changing colors. So I'm going to bring the darkness down quite a bit and I'm going to increase the saturation quite a bit. I'll bring it down a little bit more. There we go. So it's like a deep dark blue. And you can always add swatches. If you would like to create your own palettes, I do suggest doing that. However, there is a history here, and you can clear the history if you want to, so that way you have new history every time you come in. But I like to keep my history just so I can swap, and I'll show you that in a minute. We'll do the drag and drop into this text to create a drop shadow effect. Now that we have the correct color and everything like that, we have it spaced where we want it. You can go into this magic wand tool, select that, and then there is a Gaussian blur selection. So we're going to choose that, and then all you have to do is tap the screen and slide to the right, and it blurs it out. Now you can blur it out until it's gone, but I kind of just want to blur it out ever so slightly because you still want to be able to see the words, but you want them blurred. There we go, and that's how you make your little drop shadow. If you're working on a piece and you want to go back and forth between selections of color, it used to be to where you have to go back in and select the color and then choose your swatch and such like that. But not really anymore because of the update of, I think, Procreate 5.2. You can tap and hold on the color and it switches it back to the previous color that you were using. So you can tap and hold and it switches it back to the gray. You can tap and hold again and it switches it back to the deep dark blue or whatever color you're using. So I'm going to switch back to this dark gray for the moon. Tap and slide the moon to the left. I'm going to duplicate it. We're going to create a glow effect. These types of effects are things that you typically would want to use more often than not. Can't really see it because it is sitting behind the moon right now. But I'm going to take my color, I'm going to make it way lighter, and I'm going to add a yellow tinge to it by just being in my classic mode here. So I'm going to add some more saturation and give it more of a yellow, a yellow tinge to it. So I'm going to take this color, I'm going to drag and drop it into the shape, check it, yep. From there, we're just going to take our magic wand tool and we're going to blur it out by choosing Gaussian blur and then blurring it out even more. There we go. To make it look like it's actually glowing, because yes, it's glowing, but it's not bright enough to actually glow, you can always go into your layers panel. This was something that I didn't learn immediately, but you see this N right here that's on like every layer. That is the blend mode. So if you tap on the N, you get other options. So there's opacity, which you can bring down the opacity if you want a little bit. And then you can change the blend mode. Screen works nice, or you can do add. Add gives you this really bright additional color laying on top, so that way it adds to the intensity and it gives you this nice glow, which I find to be really quite nice. You can also change opacity on this slider here for your brushes and the size over here for your brushes. For everyone who always sees those like TikToks and those Instagram art pieces where they have it in presentation mode, there is a way to do it. Let me take my glove off. Once you're done with your piece and you want it to go into presentation mode, you just take 4 fingers and tap on the screen at the same time, and all your toolbars go away and you're left with the presentation of the piece. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and let me know down below if you want any more tips and tricks from Procreate. I am more than happy to let you know of them. Like if you want to know how to make custom brushes, I will definitely show you how to do that. Let me know if you would like that, if you are curious. Like and subscribe if you like this video and you want to see more from me. And I will see you all in the next video. See you soon, creatives.